Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to start it off in Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. And this was Yahushai, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus, telling his disciples in the past of some of the end-time signs to look for to know that his second coming was nigh and the kingdom of heaven was at hand. And we know that, these things didn't happen back during those times. And as it says in Romans chapter 15, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. They were really written, and he really spoke to his disciples who today are currently living in these times of the last days, really the last seconds of the last days. For nation shall rise against nation, racial tensions, which, are just continually brewing day by day. Look at that whole situation with those Edomites, the so-called white people, and those Israelites, especially of the tribe of Judah, or so-called African Americans up in Cincinnati with that beatdown at that jazz festival, and kingdom against kingdom. These major nations getting ready for war against each other. Russia versus NATO and the U.S., China and Taiwan, Israel and Iran. And there shall be famines, which we can clearly see is taking place over in Gaza right now, and pestilences. There's a whole host of different plagues they're talking about in the news, down here in Louisiana, and I think along, maybe the whole Gulf Coast, there's a flesh-eating bacteria in these oceans, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. We're just in the beginning stages right now, and it's going to get a hell of a lot worse going forward. But in this video, I'm going to be dealing with the earthquakes in diverse places, because over the last, couple of days, there's been, serious earthquakes that have, broken records that have been taking place in diverse places. But the first article I'll be going to is on dailymail.co.uk. Megaquake felt in New York. A massive earthquake off the coast of Russia, so in Russia, was detected more than 4,700 miles away in upstate New York, highlighting the incredible reach of seismic waves. So an earthquake that originated in Russia, seismic waves were felt all the way in New York in diverse places. Data from the U.S. Geological Survey showed the tremor struck about 84 miles southeast of Kamchatka at around 7:24 p.m. Eastern Time, with a magnitude of 8.8. It ranks as the sixth strongest earthquake ever recorded. Meteorologist Howard Mange revealed that shock waves from the megaquake were picked up by a seismometer in Binghamton, New York. The first waves to arrive were the primary waves, or P waves, reaching the seismometer about 11 minutes after the initial quake. These are the fastest seismic waves traveling in the same direction as the wave itself, similar to sound waves, and are typically the first to be recorded following the earthquake. These are the fastest seismic waves moving in the same direction as the wave itself, similar to a sound wave, and are the first to be recorded after an earthquake. Approximately 22 minutes after the event, the seismometer detected secondary waves, or S waves. These slower waves move particles side to side and cannot travel through liquids. Finally, around 36 minutes after the quake, the slowest but often most powerful surface waves arrived in New York. Earthquake in eastern Russia. These waves travel as a group around the surface of the earth and are usually the largest waves seen on the seismogram. The further away the earthquake, the more spread out the surface waves are in time. Alex Nikulin, associate professor at Binghamton University, explained that an earthquake that powerful is capable of sending waves around the world multiple times, again in diverse places. Importantly, they are not felt at that point by humans because you've attenuate out most of the frequencies that would have been felt, but they're felt by sensors. He told Local 12 News that it was the largest recorded in the region since 1952, referring to the 9.0 magnitude that hit in Kamchatka, Russia, the same location as the tremor that struck this week. And I'm going to just read around to hit the main points. Within the first second, seismic stations closest to the epicenter, primarily in Alaska and western coastal Canada, began detecting the earthquake's P waves. Now listen to this. Between 1 and 5 seconds after the quake, the seismic waves surged eastward, reaching stations throughout the western U.S., including California, Oregon, and Washington. And here's a map of it. So you see from that one earthquake, those seismic waves spread out in many different diverse places. You might as well say damn near over the entire U.S. From 5 to 10 seconds, the waves extended into central states such as Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas, covering a vast swath of the continent. Between 10 and 20 seconds, the seismic activity reached the Midwest and East Coast, including Minnesota, Illinois, New York, Pennsylvania, and the Carolinas. That's pretty much it with this article. But wait, there's more. This is another article from iHeart.com. 3.0 magnitude earthquake reported in U.S. A 3.0 magnitude earthquake was reported in New Jersey on Saturday, August 2nd. And let me see when this one, I believe this was on Saturday as well. All right, so this one, okay, so I think this one was August 1st, and the next day afterwards, this one in New Jersey on August 2nd. A 3.0 magnitude earthquake was reported in New Jersey on Saturday, August 2nd, according to the United States Geographical Survey. The earthquake was centered near Hasbrouck Heights at a depth of 10.0 kilometers, about 6.2 miles. The USGS said it received 9,806 reports of people having felt the earthquake at the time of the publication. The New Jersey earthquake was reported 2 days after a 5.7 magnitude earthquake was reported in Russia on Thursday. According to the United States Geological Survey, the earthquake was centered near the Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky at a depth of 10.0 kilometers, about 6.2 miles. The earthquake was one of many aftershocks reported after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake was reported in Russia on Tuesday, according to the United States Geological Survey. The earthquake was centered on the Kamchatka Peninsula at a depth of 20.7 kilometers, about 13 miles. So that's the one we just read about. Tsunami waves were reported in the United States after the massive earthquake struck Russia's Far East. A 5.7 foot tsunami was reported in Kaluli, Maui, while a 4.9 foot wave was reported in Hilo, and a 4.0 foot wave was recorded in Hawaii, according to the United States Tsunami Warning. A 3.6 tsunami wave was reported in California's Crescent City, the highest wave ever recorded in the state, as well as a 3.0 foot wave in Arena Cove and a 1.2 foot wave along Humboldt Bay. So, hey, records getting broken and set, left and right. But again, there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. Just one of the many signs to show, that we are in the last days, really the last seconds of the last days, and how close we are getting to Yahweh's second coming. But now I'm close it out in 2nd Esdras chapter 9. I'm gonna start at the top. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, which is what the men of the Lord are doing, by watching the news and reading the scriptures and filtering the news through the scriptures to go out and preach this word and then put up video epistles like this online. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And when you read further up in Matthew 24, before Yahweh went into those signs, he told his disciples to gather around him so he could let them know the things that would befall them, in the last days, the signs to look for. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes in diverse places and uproars of the people in the world, which you can look that up as well, anti-government protests, protests for a whole host of things taking place all across the planet as we speak, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, which we clearly see is the case. And as it said again in Matthew 24, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. It's only going to intensify from here on out. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.